Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Teleislas News with the most important news of the day. In the facilities of the department's police command, a press conference is being held at this time to report on the events that occurred over the weekend.
The National Police achieved the seizure of 7,000 grams of narcotics, which led to the capture of 6 people, 1 man and 5 women.
Unos estupefacientes se logra incautar.
We found some narcotics where we managed to seize more than 3,000 grams of cocaine hydrochloride and more than 4,000 grams of marijuana, almost 7,000 grams of narcotics according to the work being done by the anti-narcotics personnel. We have seized more than 44 bags of marijuana. We have captured 1 person who was in charge of selling this narcotic. It was marijuana ready for sale.
The police delivered part of the material extracted for several hardware stores of the island through the modality of fraud.
En el sector del schoolhouse.
In the schoolhouse sector, on Friday, the GOES group recovered merchandise and elements for a value of almost 32 million pesos. These elements had been stolen through the modality of fraud from 2 recognized companies in San Andres.
Regarding the case of the scam of the island hardware stores, the police say that investigations are continuing in order to find the whereabouts of those involved.
In an interview with Teleislas News, the Minister of Environment, Carlos Correa, makes an assessment of his visit to the department, as well as on the project that he's been following up.
During his visit to the department, the Environment Minister made a tour on how the reforestation of corals is progressing, as well as the signature to turn San Andres into a biodiversity.
Very early in the morning, I went out with some families of the associations that are doing the coral restoration, and we were able to go to the different areas of the island. We went to see the nurseries that we have already signed an agreement for more than 9,000 million pesos to plant 1 million corals, 600,000 here and others in the Pacific and the Caribbean. Today we went to see how it is going. In each nursery, there are more than 2,500 coral fragments that are starting in the process. Then we went to another area where we replanted some corals that were already big enough to replant.
The visit also promoted the concept of biodiversities, which is a strategy that seeks to develop the island under the criteria of sustainability and innovation, and to harmoniously integrate the natural wealth on the territory in its urban planning and economic and social development.
We also signed the agreement of San Andres as a biodiversity, and within the framework of this agreement, there are several actions. For example, in October, we will begin a diagnosis to guarantee the quality of the air and thus set up stations to be able to measure it permanently in real time. For next year, we will expect to have this in execution, and that will help us a lot in the quality of life of the people and see how the air is on the island.
Finally, the minister stated that they seek to ensure that 10 schools have eco-greenhouse, as well as to include environmental education for young people.
And this weekend, the signing to create the National Environmental Youth Network was carried out in the department. This is in order to revive youth participation in environmental care.
The National Environmental Youth Network was born through the National Program of Community Environmental Promoters established in 2003 by the Ministry of Environment and Sustainable Development. The purpose of this program is to reactivate existing community participation processes to maintain ecosystems in good condition and provide society with better quality of life and pleasant habitat.
Es importante que los jóvenes de ambientes.
It is important to create a network of young people of San Andres and that they become part of this program at the national level, because in this way experiences are integrated and knowledge is improved, and also the awareness of the environmental issue is improved. The agreement we have signed with the minister is for there to be a youth network node headquarters here, and we want to expand the motivation for the island of Old Providence to be a part of this network. We also want children and young people from Old Providence to be a part of this.
The Minister of Environment attended the signing of this network in the department and event highlighted the participation of young people.
Y me he reunido hoy
Today, I
con
have met
jóvenes
with
con
young
diferentes-
people who are part of groups and associations to see what ideas we have. Construction of nurseries, cleanup days, circular economy, and I have left here very happy because we have just signed the consolidation and the beginning of what is the San Andres node for young people. We already have more than 2,500 young people in this group, and today San Andres is part of this environmental group.
Currently, the National Environmental Youth Network promotes environmental education at the departmental and municipal level through the generation of young leaders. The network is organized by a National General Assembly which meets annually and is made up of one delegate from each department. It has a national coordination that is elected by the Assembly to perform functions for periods of 1 year. This coordination is in charge of promoting and managing programs related to environment in all the departments of the country.
The departmental government, through the Secretaries of Health and Infrastructure, is making progress in the management to start the works for the endowment of the Vaccine Collection Center in the sector of San Luis.
The works for the adaptation of the Vaccine Collection Center will last approximately 5 months and will cost approximately 1,500 million pesos.
We have had a very important meeting with the contractor, the auditor, the Secretariat of Infrastructure and Health to start the work on the Vaccine Collection Center, which is owned by the department.
The Vaccine Collection Center will optimize the processes of conservation and handling of the biological products, complying with the quality standards recommended by the Ministry of Health and Social Protection.
Through the Risk Management Unit, through the COVID sub-account, we have been able to manage the necessary resources to start this work, which is of vital importance. We have been planning for 15 years to initiate this project in order to provide the department with a real biological collection center that will benefit the entire community and especially our children in the department.
According to the Secretary of Health, the complete of this work will add to the goals of the development plan outlined by Governor Herbert Hawkins for the benefit of the community.
And the Planning Secretariat conducted a dissemination of the information with beneficiaries who will have the privilege of acquiring a new home for having suffered total loss of their homes.
In order to have an approach with people who are registered in the EDAN, the damage assessment, the Secretariat of Planning, in compliance with the activities conducted and information sharing activity with 14 beneficiaries identified in the department, which will have the privilege to acquiring a new home for having suffered total loss of their homes. In this regard, the head of the portfolio, Angélica Hernández, explained.
Este es un proyecto muy lindo de viviendas hechas.
This is a very nice project of houses made with plastic wood. Everything will be donated by the company. The lot will be provided by the government in 4 corners. Let's say that they are going to be beneficiaries of Sound Bay and the Blowing Hole. They are going to be relocated within their sector so they don't feel that they were taken out of their environment.
This project is suggested under the proposal of relocation to the departmental government properties, and at the same time the presentation of the design of the houses and the construction material was made.
And early in the morning hours of today, there was a road accident on the road that connects the Seri Bay neighborhood at the height of the airport runway, where, according to the first versions, indicate the collision of 2 vehicles, a motorcycle and a car. The fact recorded the loss of one of the limbs of one of those involved in the accident. The traffic office announced to this news agency, which at the moment is still under investigation, the cause of this accident. Now, at this time, we make a balance of the COVID situation in our department and the points that will be tested for this week.
Good afternoon. 4 new cases of COVID-19 is summoned to the COVID panorama here in our department. On Friday, there were 2 new cases. Saturday, there were no cases. And yesterday, Sunday, there were another 2 new cases of COVID-19 for our department, the Department of San Andres, Old Providence, and Santa Catalina, according to the National Institute of Health daily report. We have to say that 2 months ago, there are no deaths of COVID-19, and also that the ICU occupancy and hospitalization in the hospital are very low. However, they continue to implement the PRAS strategy to take the test them of COVID-19 to the inhabitants of the department. However, they continue to implement the PRAS strategy to take the test of COVID-19 to the inhabitants of the department. Today, Monday, they will be in the canyon, in the Morgan Canyon. Tomorrow, Tuesday, they will be in a Reach Hill. Wednesday, they will be in Los Corrales neighborhood. Thursday will be in the Bight neighborhoods. Friday in the Barrio Obrero, and Saturday in Sprat Bight. This is all information. Lisa continues to do with the most relevant information of the day.
Thank you, Silbeth, and now let us know other facts that are making news in our brief news sections of today.
The anti-smuggling team of the Secretariat of Finance conducted an inspection of liquor and cigarettes sold in nightclubs on the island located in the area known as the Zona Rosa. The administration emphasized that the consumption of contraband liquor affects the department's coffers and has serious implications for the health of the consumer. The Secretariat of Education and the Energy Company of the Archipelago EDAS conducted an alliance that seeks to educate the institutions of the department on the positive impact that can have the implementation of renewable energy on the environment. A total of 52 students in grades 10 and 11 of the educational institutions of Natania and Kahasai learned about the experience of alternative energy. This educational activity is expected to be replicated in other educational institutions. The Child Protection Group of the National Police conducted a campaign in the Natania Departmental School, making known Line 123 and Line 141 on suicide prevention and to seek help in case of episodes of depression.
Now we continue with the weather forecast. The weather forecast for today, September 13, in the coastal area of the archipelago, the sky is mainly cloudy. Temperature is 29 degrees Celsius with winds from the northeast direction with intensities of 18 kilometers per hour. Humidity forecast is of 79% and probability of precipitation is of 24%.